Welcome to this dotCMS website training for how to create a copy of event, long version. As I mentioned in my previous training on the short version, there's just a couple of steps that need to get created or changed if you are just changing the date of your event. But in the long version, we're going to go over some of the additional details that you might need to change if you're creating a completely different event from that copy of the previous event. So once you're logged into dotCMS, you're going to select Content and Search. Under the Type dropdown, you're going to select for Event. And if your event that you want to create a copy of isn't just showing in the matching results, then you can type in the name of that event to search for it. But before we get to that, it is really important that you pay attention to whether your event that you're making the copy of is published or unpublished. Now this event here is showing as published with a green circle with a check mark. And then this particular event is showing as unpublished with an orange circle. It is highly recommended that if you're going to make a copy of an event, you do it from an unpublished state. Because if you attempt to make a copy of an event that's published, it will automatically publish the copied event. All right, so let's search for our event here. And this is the particular event that I would like to make a copy of. So I'm going to right click on the name of this event and select copy. Workflow has been executed. My original event is here. My copied event is here. You can see that because the copy and additional numbers are showing up in the URL title field. Now I want to edit this event. So I'm going to click on the name of the event and it's going to open up the event dashboard. Now this brings up a copy of everything that was published from that original event. But let's say this event that we want to make more changes than just the start date and maybe a couple of tweaks to the name of the event. So for the title, we need to either change the name or make it a completely new title. So I'm just going to say new test event and remove that date. And then in the URL title field, this is really important. You're going to need to make this URL title unique. Right now it is showing some copy information, and if we just remove that information by hitting the backspace or the delete button, it's going to leave that URL exactly the same as the event that we copied it from. And you can only have one event in the system that has a specific URL title, so you need to change it so that it's unique. So in this particular instance, I've renamed my title of my event. So I'm going to take out this April 30th, and in the front of this, I'm just going to put new hyphen test event because I've called my event new test event. Next, if you need to make changes to your summary description because the summary might be different, you'll need to replace that information in the summary field. If you need to add an image to your event, you can do so by selecting the Browse button. And then you would input this information for image description. If you want your image to have a caption, i.e. words underneath the image, then you're going to input that description that you would like in the caption field. The image caption shows with the image description is in the back end. In case someone with a disability is using a screen reader to read this particular event page, then they will get this description read to them if they can't see that image. Next, you're going to go to start date and end date. You need to select the new date for your event. So you're going to start with start date. And we're going to say that this event takes place in May on the 15th. And we also need to change the end date. So we're going to say this takes place in May. Now, if it's a one-day event, just the same day, we're just going to select May 15th. Now, if this event is going to take place over a couple of days, might be a conference or a couple-day event, then you would select for whatever the length of time is for that event. And it should just be a one-time event. So I'm going to select May 15th. If the time is going to change, you're going to need to input that. So I'm going to say my event starts at 9, and we'll say that it ends at 5. Next, if your location is going to change, then you need to input the new information into this field. I'm going to say that we're going to have this take place at a different location. So I'm going to type in to my geolocation field 550 West Circle Drive in East Lansing. This now inputs new longitude and latitude, which shows up as get directions for this particular event. And I'm going to copy this new address and paste it. Replace this address here. And then we're going to say this is going to take place at the MSU. Now, contact information could remain the same. Now, if you have a profile in the system and you are the point of contact, then you want to type in your name exactly as it appears on your profile. And then in the contact field, your name will get linked as a point of contact for that. I'm going to type in John User. You can see this is also how you can add an additional name to this field. Now, in the event description, you're going to want to include information that might be more than just the first sentence of your event description. It might include CEUs, parking information, information about your speakers, the agenda, that kind of information. And then there is a link field here. If you have a registration form that is live online, you can input that link into this link field, and then a register button will show when you publish your event. And our event services, management services, often makes events for A&R, and if you get a link from them, then that's what would go into this link field. Now, if we want to add some additional information into this description, I might say this is the second sentence of my Then you can insert hyperlinks, you can add photos, you can also change styles if you want to add headings to the page like cost and how to register and that kind of information. Next, you're going to scroll up to the top and select the Relationships tab. And there's different relationships that you can select. Organization sites, those tend to be the main department websites, the extension website, the CANR website are all considered organization sites. Data set sites are extension subsites, the county websites, topic websites, academic program sites, that kind of thing. So you just want to make sure that you select for the appropriate relationships that go along with this particular event. So let's say, for example, this new event, we don't want it to be related to the data set as a relationship. So there is a trash can symbol here, so you can just select the trash can and that removes that link, that relationship. And then here you can see selecting for a point of contact. So if you want to make a new contact, point of contact, you would select relate. And then we have a demo person. You can just use Jane Professor here, select that relationship, and now Jane User and Jane Professor are showing as 2 points of contact for this event. Now your contact information doesn't have to match who you are actually relating in the back end. So Jane User might be the main point of contact, but Jane Professor might also be part of that training, which is why she's not showing in that contact field from before. And then tags, you always want to make sure you have at least one tag that's associated with your event, most often with the name of your website, how that might be affiliated. So that could be food safety, that could be MI Super, it could be MSU Extension if you're doing an extension event. If you're doing a county related event, it would be the like Ingham for Ingham County. If I'm with a department, it could be School of Planning, Design, and Construction. So let me show you what that'll look like. So once you start typing, you'll see that there might be a tag that you might want to use, and you can select for that. National Institute. Institute. You can see that one's here, just showing you a couple of different unit names that you might use. Now, if you want to make a new tag that doesn't exist in the system to help as the main focus of this particular event, and you would like to create a new tag for that, let's type in safe food. There's a safe food, safe water. There is no tag for safe water right now. So if you want to make a new tag based off of what you just typed in, you're just going to select the enter key, and now you have a new tag. Once you publish this event, then it will show that new tag when you attempt to use that in, the next time. Finally, you're going to select lock for editing and either save draft to save this to the back end if you want to make additional changes. Check links, it'll check links in that description field if you input any hyperlinks. If your links are good and you don't have any changes needed, it'll just publish your event. Otherwise, if there's broken links, it will let you know. Finally, if you want to publish your event, you just need to select publish, and it will push your event live. And that's how you edit a copied event long version.